The Hampton Bay Bridge collapsed at 7:42 a.m. Steel and concrete plunging into icy water. 47 morning commuters trapped in sinking cars. Marcus Williams saw it happen from his bus stopped at the toll plaza. People screamed for help. Police couldn't get there fast enough. Marcus, 55 years old, bad hip, 20 pounds overweight, city bus driver, kicked off his shoes and dove in 12 times. Everyone thought he was crazy. They didn't know that before driving Route 47, Marcus had been Aviation rescue swimmer first class. And those 47 people were about to learn what a Navy rescue swimmer never stops being. Marcus Williams had driven the number 47 bus for 18 years. Same route every day. Downtown Hampton to the east side suburbs, morning shift starting at 5 a.m. He knew every stop, every pothole, every passenger who caught the 6:15. The regulars called him Mr. Marcus. Always polite, always on time. The man with the limp and the friendly smile who never complained about the pain everyone could see when he climbed those bus steps. At 55, Marcus looked older. The limp had gotten worse over the years. His left hip grinding bone on bone from an injury nobody asked about. His back constantly aching from scars nobody could see beneath his uniform. He was overweight now, soft around the middle. Not the athlete he'd been 30 years ago. Just another city employee counting down the years until retirement, driving his route, collecting his paycheck, going home to his wife Clara and their quiet life in a small house 3 blocks from the bus depot. Nobody knew that Marcus Williams had once been one of the Navy's elite, that he'd jumped from helicopters into 20-foot seas to save drowning sailors, that he'd rescued 43 people during his 12 years of active service, that the scars on his back were from a helicopter crash in the Persian Gulf that killed 3 of his team, but somehow he survived. That the limp was from a training accident that shattered his hip and ended his career at age 37. Nobody knew because Marcus never told them. He'd left that life behind, become someone else, someone normal, someone safe, until the morning the Hampton Bay Bridge collapsed. It was a Tuesday in February. Cold, overcast. Marcus was running his route, right on schedule. Approaching the Hampton Bay Bridge toll plaza at exactly 7:41 a.m. 15 passengers on his bus, morning commuters, coffee in hand, phones out, half asleep. Marcus was thinking about his hip, about the pain that never quite went away, about whether he could afford the surgery Clara kept pushing him to get. Then he felt it. A vibration. Wrong. Different. He looked up, saw the bridge ahead, saw the center span shaking, saw the support cables snap, saw 200 feet of roadway drop like an elevator into the bay. Cars, trucks, a school bus plunging into the water. The sound was enormous. Metal shrieking, concrete shattering, then the screams. Marcus slammed his brakes. His bus skidded, stopped 20 feet from the collapsed edge. His passengers lurched forward, coffee spilling, phones dropping. "What the hell?" someone shouted. Marcus didn't answer. He was already moving. Opening the door, stepping off the bus, his training kicking in, assess, count, act. He could see vehicles in the water, some floating, some sinking, people climbing out, swimming, screaming, drowning. He counted fast, estimated, 47 people, maybe more. The water was 42 degrees. Hypothermia would set in within 10 minutes, drowning within 5 for the panicked ones. The bridge was a mile from the nearest Coast Guard station. Help was coming, but not fast enough. Marcus looked down at himself. 55 years old, 230 pounds, bad hip, bus driver uniform, 30 years out of practice. Then he looked at the people in the water, dying, needing him. He kicked off his shoes. "Marcus, what are you doing?" one of his passengers yelled. "My job," Marcus said, and dove off the edge. The water hit him like a fist, cold, shocking. His body screamed, his hip flared with pain, but muscle memory took over. His arms started stroking, his legs kicking. 30 years fell away. He was a rescue swimmer again. He reached the first victim in 40 seconds, a woman, 50s, clinging to a floating briefcase, gasping, panicking. "Ma'am," Marcus said, his voice calm, authoritative, the voice that had talked dozens of drowning people through their panic. "I've got you. Relax, let me do the work." She grabbed at him, tried to climb on top of him. He controlled her, turned her around, got her in a cross-chest carry. Started swimming back toward the collapsed edge where people were gathering, kicked with his good leg. Ignored the screaming pain in his hip, reached the concrete. Hands pulled the woman up. Marcus didn't pause, turned, swam back out. Second victim, a man. Younger, going under. Marcus dove, grabbed him, pulled him up, got him breathing, dragged him back. Third victim, fourth, fifth. Each rescue took longer. His body was slowing, the cold seeping into his muscles, his hip grinding, his lungs burning, but he kept going. Sixth, seventh, eighth. People on the edge were yelling at him. Sir, you need to stop. You're going to die." Marcus ignored them. Ninth victim, a teenager, unconscious. Marcus got him, breathed for him, got him to shore. 10th, 11th. His vision was tunneling now, his body shutting down from hypothermia. His hip felt like it was on fire, but there were still people in the water, still screaming, still dying. 12th rescue, a child, maybe 10 years old, trapped in a sinking car. Marcus dove under, pulled the door. It wouldn't open. He braced his feet, pulled harder. The door gave. He grabbed the kid, pulled him out, swam up, broke the surface, got the kid breathing, dragged him to safety. Marcus tried to go back for a 13th. His body wouldn't move, his legs wouldn't kick, his arms wouldn't stroke. He was floating, drifting, dying. Then hands grabbed him, a wetsuit, a Coast Guard rescue swimmer. "I got you, brother," the swimmer said, pulled Marcus to a boat, hauled him out, wrapped him in thermal blankets. Marcus's teeth were chattering so hard he couldn't speak. The Coast Guard swimmer was looking at him, really looking. "Sir," he said, "how many did you pull out?" Marcus tried to answer, couldn't. His body was convulsing from the cold. The swimmer turned him slightly, saw his back through the wet uniform, saw the massive scars, the pattern unmistakable. The swimmer's eyes went wide. "You're a rescue swimmer," he said. Not a question, a statement. Marcus managed a nod. The swimmer looked at his team. This guy just pulled out 12 people in 40-degree water at 50-something years old, with what looks like major injuries. He's a goddamn legend. They got Marcus to the hospital, treated him for severe hypothermia. His core temp had dropped to 92 degrees. Another 10 minutes, and he'd have died. His hip was inflamed, swollen, possibly fractured again, but he'd live. And so would the 12 people he'd saved. The news crews found him the next day, wanted interviews, wanted to call him a hero. Marcus refused, tried to downplay it. "I just did what anyone would do." But the Coast Guard rescue swimmer who'd pulled him out told a different story, told the media about the scars, about finding out Marcus was former Navy, about the 12 rescues, about watching a 55-year-old man with a visible limp do what trained 20-year-olds would struggle with. The story exploded. Hero bus driver saves 12 from bridge collapse. Former Navy rescue swimmer emerges from retirement. The man with the limp who refused to quit. Marcus hated the attention, stayed home, ignored his phone, but 3 days after the collapse, someone knocked on his door. Clara answered, "Came to get Marcus. There's someone here for you." Marcus limped to the door, found a Navy captain standing there. Dress whites, rows of ribbons. "Sir," Marcus said, old habits, stood straighter despite the pain. "Mr. Williams," the captain said, or should I say, Petty Officer Williams. Marcus blinked. "I'm retired, sir." The captain smiled. "I'm Captain James Mitchell. I run the Navy's rescue swimmer program now, and I came to personally thank you for reminding the world what rescue swimmers are made of." "I just did what I was trained to do," Marcus said. "Exactly," Captain Mitchell said. 30 years after you left the service, with a broken body, in water that would kill most people, you did what you were trained to do. That's what makes you one of us, forever." He handed Marcus a folder. "What's this?" "An offer. We're expanding our veteran outreach program. We need experienced swimmers to mentor the next generation, not active duty. Just come talk to our students. Tell them your story. Teach them what it really means to be a rescue swimmer. Not just the physical part, but the never quit part." Marcus opened the folder, looked at the details. "I don't know if I'm qualified anymore, sir. You just saved 12 lives," the captain said. "You're qualified." Marcus thought about it, looked at Clara. She was smiling, nodding. "Okay," he said. "I'll try." The captain extended his hand. "Welcome back, Petty Officer." 2 months later, Marcus stood in front of a classroom at Naval Station Norfolk. 40 rescue swimmer candidates, all of them young, fit, eager, staring at the older black man with the pronounced limp and the bus driver jacket he still wore out of habit. "My name is Marcus Williams," he said. "I'm 55 years old. I drive a city bus. I have a bad hip, a bad back, and I'm about 30 pounds overweight." The students looked confused. Some smirked. Where was this going? 2 months ago, Marcus continued, I pulled 12 people out of 40-degree water after a bridge collapse. I did it because 30 years ago I was where you are, a rescue swimmer candidate, learning what it means to save lives. He paused. "And I want to tell you something that nobody told me back then. Being a rescue swimmer isn't about being the strongest or the fastest or the youngest. It's about refusing to quit when quitting is the easy choice. It's about doing the job even when your body is screaming at you to stop. Even when you're scared, even when you're broken." The smirks disappeared. "I haven't been in the water in 30 years, Marcus said. "My body is wrecked. I can barely walk some days. But when people needed me, the training came back. The mission came back. Because that's what we are. We're the people who show up when others can't, who jump in when others won't, who save lives because that's what we do." The room was silent, attentive. One candidate raised his hand. "Sir, how did you keep going? How did you not quit after 12 rescues?" Marcus smiled sadly. "Because there was a 13th person I couldn't reach, a woman in her car. I tried, I dove, I pulled, but I couldn't get the door open, couldn't get her out, and she died." His voice cracked. "I think about her every day. That's why I kept going for the others, because I couldn't save her, but I could save them." Another candidate spoke up. "Do you regret it? Diving in?" Marcus shook his head. "I regret every day I didn't use what I was trained for. Every day I told myself I was too old, too broken, too past my prime. Because it's a lie. You're never too old to save a life. You're never too broken to matter." Another student. "What's your advice for us?" "Don't wait 30 years like I did," Marcus said. "When you leave the service, don't hide who you are. Don't waste the skills you learned. Find ways to use them. Teach, train, volunteer. Because the world needs what you know. And someday, somewhere, someone will need you, and you'll be ready." The class erupted in applause. Afterward, dozens of students came up, shook his hand, asked questions, thanked him. And Marcus realized something. This was his new mission, not diving into the water, but diving into these kids' minds, teaching them, preparing them, making sure the next generation was better than his. Over the next 3 years, Marcus spoke to over 500 rescue swimmer candidates, became a permanent fixture in the training program. The Coast Guard invited him too. Then civilian search and rescue teams. He became a national voice for veteran service, for never giving up, for refusing to let age or injury define capability. But he never stopped driving the 47 bus, never left his route, never abandoned the normal life that kept him grounded. He just added the teaching, the speaking, the serving in a new way. One day, a young Coast Guard rescue swimmer approached him after a talk. "Sir," she said, "I just wanted to tell you something." "What's that?" "I was one of the people you saved." From the bridge. Marcus's breath caught. "Which one?" "The woman with the briefcase. I was drowning, panicking, and you grabbed me and you said, 'I've got you, relax.' and your voice was so calm, so sure. I believed you, and I lived." She wiped tears. "And because you saved me, I joined the Coast Guard. I became a rescue swimmer. I've saved 23 people so far. 23 people who are alive because you saved me first." Marcus couldn't speak, could only nod. She hugged him. "Thank you for showing me what a hero looks like. It's not the young guy with the perfect body. It's the 55-year-old bus driver who limps, who's broken, who dives in anyway." Marcus held her, let himself cry, let himself feel the weight and the pride and the purpose of it all. "You're welcome," he whispered. That evening, Marcus drove home, parked his bus, limped to his house, found Clara in the kitchen. She looked at him, smiled. "Good day?" "Good day," Marcus said, kissed her, sat down for dinner, and for the first time in 30 years, he didn't feel like he was running from his past. He was honoring it, living it, being it, not a bus driver pretending to be normal, but a rescue swimmer who happened to drive a bus. Both things, all of it, fully, proudly, the end.